Hi everyone, I'm Isati and I'm going to answer the first question, which is define leader and leadership and discuss why managers should be leaders. So a leader is someone who can influence, inspire and motivate others and who has managerial authority. So we can say that a leader is an individual person, while leadership is a matter of action, not a position. For example, what leaders do, the process of leading a group, and influencing that group to achieve its goals. So before answering why managers should be leaders, let me tell you first who is a manager. Managers are someone who is responsible for organizing and overseeing their work of their team. So why managers should be leaders is because being a leader as well as a manager is important as it helps to motivate employees, build trust, and develop talent. Ultimately, this can lead to a more successful and productive team which benefits both the employees and also the organization.
Based on behavioral theory of leadership, how does the behavior of one leader differ from that of other leaders? So, this can be determined by analyzing the actions and reactions of each leader in various situations. It is not determined by inherent traits, but instead adapted behaviors based on the needs of their team members and surroundings. So, there are two types of leader behavior, which is the first one, task oriented, and the second one, people oriented. So the task oriented one is when they focus more on completing tasks and achieving goals. So it's often more structured to closely monitor members' performance and ensuring that deadlines are met. For instance, may implement strict timelines by giving deadlines and monitoring progress. However, people oriented is when they are focused more on the well being and the development of the team members, more to creating a positive work environment, collaboration of members, and considering well being of members. For instance, having regular check ins with the team members to ensure that the welfare of members is well maintained and strengthening the interpersonal connections.
Leadership is the ability to influence others and manage their authority. It involves guiding a group and inspiring them to achieve their goals. But the question is, are leaders born or are they made? And the answer is not simply a yes or a no, because leadership is a combination of both. According to a study conducted by University of Illinois, leadership is about 30% due to nature and is 17% made. And this suggests that while innate traits plays a role, leadership are actually more significantly shaped by experience, character development, and also continuous learning. I would argue that leaders can be made when they actively develop their skills over time. Determination, experience, and patience often outweigh the innate characteristic. But people who are considered made leaders often seek out leadership development opportunities. They also invest in self-improvement. They also learn from mentors and experience. Through dedication and effort, they improve traits like decision making, communication, emotional intelligence, and more. These are traits that people are simply born with, not traits that people are simply born with, but they are cultivated. Take the example of Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. He didn't come from a family with a political power, yet he rose to become Malaysia's Prime Minister through hard work and determination. His leadership initiatives, such as Vision 2020, demonstrated his strategic mindset and intelligence traits he developed over decades of experience and effort. This shows that great leadership is not just about where you start, but how you grow. On the other hand, some argue that leaders are born, citing the Great Ming theory, which suggests that certain individuals are naturally gifted with traits that predispose them to lead. And these traits, like charisma or confidence, may give someone a head start, but they don't guarantee success without through training, development, and through experiences. For example, Najib Razak, Malaysia's sixth prime minister, is often seen as a born leader because due to his political lineage, his father, Tun Abdul Razak, was Malaysia's second prime minister. However, Najib's leadership was marked by the 1MDB corruption scandal, which severely damaged his reputation and led to his downfall. So this actually demonstrates that even with natural advantages, a lack of key leadership traits like honesty and integrity can actually hinder success. And being born into leadership does not guarantee greatness. Leaders must still develop and maintain their skills.
Next, we continue with the fourth question. A leader's effectiveness depends on their followers' ability. Which theory claims this and why? This statement aligns with Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory. This theory emphasizes that effective leadership depends on the leader's ability to adapt their style to the maturity level, which includes ability and willingness of their followers. So, why is it situational leadership theory? Firstly, because the theory suggests that no single leadership style is best. Instead, the most effective leaders adapt their style based on the competence and commitment of their followers. Secondly, because of focus on followers' ability. Ability refers to the skills and knowledge that followers possesses to perform a task. Meanwhile, willingness refers to the confidence, commitment, and motivation to do the work. The situational leadership theory categorizes leadership styles into four types. Firstly, telling directive for followers with low ability and low willingness. Next, selling coaching for followers with some ability but low willingness or confidence. Thirdly, participating supporting for followers with high ability but low confidence or motivation. And lastly, delegating for followers with high ability and high willingness. The theory argues that leadership effectiveness depends on choosing the appropriate style based on followers' ability and readiness. If a leader fails to consider these factors, their effectiveness decreases.
This contingency approach means there is no single best way to lead. Good managers change the way they lead based on the situation, the work, and their team. So some managers do this, but not all. So why some managers do this? First one is different challenges. Okay, so workplace change and managers need to adjust or to solve their problem or help their team. Okay, number two is training. Okay, so training, many companies teach managers how to change their style for different situation. And number three is needs. Okay, so people on team are different, so managers need to lead in ways that work best for everyone. So other than that, why some managers didn't do this is number one is because they stuck in their ways. Some managers only use one leadership style because it's the only what they know. Okay, and number two is not enough time in whether they are so busy or stressful times. Manager may not think about changing their approach. And number three is strict rules, because some workplace only allow certain ways of leading. And number four is lack of knowledge, because some managers don't know how or why they have to change their style. Yeah, for the conclusion, some managers use the contingency approach to lead better, but not everyone does. As workplace get more complicated, more managers are learning to adjust and be flexible to become a good managers.
We then continue with the questions. The first question is, what does the number of senior FIFA executives being investigated say about the culture at FIFA? They revealed that corruption and unethical behavior were widespread. Misconduct was not limited to a few individuals, but was ingrained across the leadership. This points to a lack of accountability and effective governance within FIFA, where oversight mechanisms were either weak or deliberately ignored. The culture appeared to tolerate or even encourage actions that prioritized personal gain and loyalty over integrity and fairness, damaging trust with fans, players, and sponsors. The second question is, of the 8 suggestions for building trust, which do you think should have been the focus for FIFA? Think about Michael G. Garcia's report. So, FIFA should have focused on transparency and accountability. By choosing not to publish Michael J. Garcia's full report and instead releasing a condensed summary, FIFA created the perception of hiding the truth. Transparency would have shown a commitment to openness and honesty, while accountability would have demonstrated that those responsible for corruption were being held to justice. Together, these actions could have begun to rebuild trust and reassure stakeholders that FIFA was serious about change and preventing future misconduct. Next, what does the case say about Blatter's style of leadership? So Blatter's leadership style was authoritarian and secretive, prioritizing control and maintaining power over addressing systematic problems. His unwillingness to confront corruption openly and his decision to downplay serious allegations reflect a lack of integrity and accountability. By avoiding transparency, such as suppressing the Garcia report, he failed to show leadership that inspired trust or respect. Blatter's reactive approach to crisis, such as resigning under pressure after being re-elected, further highlights his inability to effectively manage or reform the organization.
So, question 14 is in 2011, when asked about the crisis at FIFA around the rumors of financial irregularities, Blatter downplayed the allegations dismissively. Which of the 5 dimensions of trust do you think Blatter was failing to demonstrate? So, the dimensions of trust are integrity, competence, openness, consistency, and loyalty. Now, based on the 5 dimensions of trust, the one that I think resonates the most is openness. Notably, dismissing the serious allegations without providing any substantial evidence or engaging in dialogue shows how Blatter lacks the element of openness. His actions left stakeholders such as fans, sponsors, and even member associations hanging with untold truths when right, leaders should be expected to address concerns transparently. Now, Blatter had failed as a leader, as he should have approached the stakeholders to foster a collaborative environment by seeking input and addressing their allegations truthfully. So, this shows that his actions led to the stakeholders' increased skepticism, which could make them doubt FIFA's commitment to ethical practices or even diminish their loyalty towards FIFA. He also simultaneously tarnished his reputation as an honorable leader and showed how avoidant he is in taking accountability, leading to the damage of FIFA's reputability. So, moving on to the next question. Number 15 is for Infantino to succeed, what style of leadership do you think would be most effective? So, some may think about transactional, creative, visionary leadership, but personally, I think that transformational leadership is the most accurate one because leaders who motivate and inspire their followers to achieve their goals is something that I think Infantino should have in his leadership skills. So what he should focus on is he should focus on addressing both structural and reputational issues and facing FIFA's focus shit. So moving on to the next question, which is question 15. Now, question 15 is for Infantino to succeed, what style of leadership do you think would be most effective? So some may think about transactional, transformational, visionary, creative leadership skills. But personally, I think that the most accurate one would be transformational leadership because it means that leaders who motivate and inspire their followers to achieve their goals. So, for instance, Infantino should focus on addressing both structural and reputational issues that FIFA is facing. Other than that, he should also focus on motivating stakeholders and creating a collaborative environment within the organization. Now, Infantino must be a visionary thinker where he should have a clear vision and pathway to reach FIFA's goals while maintaining integrity and transparency in the organization. For instance, prioritizing ethical considerations rather than profitability, such as prioritizing issues of human rights in Qatar. The next thing that he should have is he should be an engaged leader, where he should be able to accept input from players, coaches, and other members of the organization to help build the loyalty and trust among members of FIFA. For instance, considering the concerns of players regarding match schedules and prioritizing their welfare helps enhance his credibility as an involved leader. So, for the summary of case study 1, which is success theatre at General Electric, with the topic of football focus. Now, FIFA was founded in 1904, which is the governing body of the world football, including the World Cup bidding process, where countries invest millions for a transparent and fair selection. However, controversy over vote trading and collusion emerged well before Russia and Qatar won the 2018 and 2022 World Cup bids. and the allegations of vote trading were confirmed in 2011, leading to an internal investigation on FIFA to address the claims. Michael J. Garcia, which is the attorney employed by FIFA, produced a 350-page report, but FIFA opted to release the summarized version. And FIFA's refusal of publishing the full report increased skepticism and eroded trust in the organization.
The next point summary is, as part of a US investigation into corruption involving more than 150 million pounds in bribes over 24 years, a number of FIFA executives were taken into custody in Zurich. Next, after being re-elected as FIFA president in 2015, Sepp Blatter resigned 4 days later due to mounting accusations, and his involvement in football-related activities was then prohibited for 8 years. The eighth point is, in 2016, Gianni Infantino was named president of FIFA, with an emphasis on re-establishing responsibility, openness, and confidence within the organization. Besides that, the scandals exposed a pervasive culture of unethical behavior inside FIFA, which resulted in international criticism and a decline in confidence. And lastly, the new leadership wants to ensure transparent governance going ahead while restoring confidence between nations, players, and supporters.
So next, let's discuss the question together. The first question is, what leadership theories do you feel Ferguson's actions support? The leadership theories that Ferguson's actions support are the transformational leadership theory and also the situational leadership theory. So what is transformational theory? The transformational leadership theory emphasizes the role of a leader in inspiring and motivating followers to reach their full potential. For example, Ferguson's emphasis on changing the club's culture, such as addressing the drinking problem and instilling a strong work ethic and also discipline in players, which is aligns with this theory. So the next one is situational leadership theory. The theory emphasizes the importance of adapting one's leadership style to the situation at hand. From the case study, we can see that Ferguson's varying approach with different players shows that he very understood this theory and knew how to adjust his leadership style to fit the individual needs for each player. For instance, from the case study, we can see that he recognized that each person required a unique and different approach, like sometimes terms discipline, other times a more supportive or strategic method in order to bring out their best performance.
Before we explore our second question, which is, what leadership traits do you see being demonstrated in the case? So let me first list out all the leadership traits from the textbook. So we have drive, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, extraversion, job-relevant knowledge, intelligence, and proneness to guilt. So when looking at the Ferguson's leadership style, there are several traits that come to my mind. One of the most significant traits is intelligence. Ferguson has emotional intelligence and ability to read and understand his players' unique needs. His adaptability in tailoring his leadership style to fit individual personalities, strengths, and motivators demonstrate his perceptiveness and strategic thinking, which are aspects of intelligence. For example, some players responded better to strict discipline, while others need encouragement or gentle guidance to perform well. And by adjusting his approach to suit each individual, he made sure that everyone was motivated in the way that worked best for them. And this personalized leadership helped to build trust and loyalty within the team, allowing players to reach their full potential and contribute to the overall success of the club. So the next one is drive. When Ferguson became a manager of the club, he shows his determination and ambition. He built a strong work ethic within the team and shaped their character for a long-term success. This work ethic wasn't just about winning games, but about building a legacy of professionalism and success. For instance, he instilled this mindset of first in the office and the last to leave to foster a strong work culture. Besides, he also took a firm stand against harmful habits and prioritizing professionalism and health. Ferguson tackled unhealthy habits within the club that can harm the individual players and performance. And by addressing these issues, he created an environment where players could focus entirely on their goals and development. And this reflects his focused and motivated approach to achieve a long-term success.
So the third question is, to what degree has emotional intelligence played a part in Alex Ferguson's success? As a leader, emotional intelligence has played a significant part in Alex Ferguson's success. His ability to understand and manage his own emotions, as well as those of his players, allowed him to build strong relationships, resolve conflicts, and create a positive team culture. He was able to communicate effectively with his players and motivate them to perform at their best. From the case study, we can see how he demonstrated self-regulation by addressing issues very decisively and moving on without holding grudges. His ability to manage his emotions, even in high-stress situations, helped maintain focus on the term's goal and fostered a disciplined environment.
So let's dive into our next question, which is, what do you see as the possible problems of varying the leadership approach with different players? So we have the first one is bias and unfairness. Because when treating players differently, it actually can lead to a perception of favoritism. And this can cause some players to feel undervalued or excluded. And this also could lead to undermine the team morale and unity. Because players who feel unfairly treated might create a division within the team, and this can result in hostility and a toxic environment that disrupts the collaboration. So the next one is inconsistent performance outcomes. Using different tactics for different players actually can lead to inconsistent results because players might not fully understood or agree with the manager's changing expectations, and this can affect the team's unity and performance. For example, if one player gets more freedom while another is given a stricter rules, it could create a confusion about what is allowed, and which can result in inconsistent behavior and a performance within the team. And then the last but not least is damage to reputation. Because a manager who seems inconsistent might actually get criticized for not having a clear principle, which could hurt their credibility and leadership image both within the club and the public. The media might take advantage of this inconsistency or any tension within the team, and it can cause a negative press that distract the players and the fans, and this actually can damage the manager's reputation. So these risks highlight the importance of maintaining transparency and fairness while varying the leadership approach. A successful manager must balance individual needs with the overall team dynamic to avoid these pitfalls. This is the 10-point summary of our second case study, which is developing Gen Y leaders. So, Manchester United FC is a successful football club in England for winning a numerous domestic and international trophies. Alex Ferguson was a manager of the club for 26 years since 1986, who had successfully implemented his vision and plan for a long-term success. He handled a harmful culture like drinking among players and cultivated a strong work ethic culture such as arrive early and leave late for work. He also encouraged players to represent the club professionally by wearing blazers and badge. This aims to enhance the feeling of commitment and belonging in work environment. So the club former CEO David Gill compared Ferguson to Steve Jobs, which highlight their similar traits like determination, drive, and success. However, their leadership style differed as Steve actually took a blunt and aggressive approach, while Ferguson tailored his approach depending on the player's personality. Ferguson could be tricked when handling disciplinary issues, but would quickly move on once resolved. And Ferguson made an effort to know the name of his entire organization, regardless of any position, including support staff and etc. And after retiring, Ferguson shared his leadership perspective by teaching at Harvard Business School and releasing his book Leading in 2015.